There is a classic mayonnaise that brings out the traditional French in 3 levels of tanginess. The mild classic, the medium classic, the strong classic. Tangy the way you love it.
Made with love by Clover.
Yeah, from magic and Muay Thai and music and everything else to the kitchen, we're going to continue to commemorate the youth of yesteryear. And we're also celebrating the youth of today who are doing absolute magic things. Now, what better way than to celebrate with a favorite, a classic masala steak sandwich.
Yeah,
here to show us how it's done is the man that has been deemed as one of the best well, not snack makers, but definitely steak makers in the world.
I'll make you a steak snack.
In the world, G, you've made a big statement here. The best steak maker in the world.
I enjoy it so much, and it's probably, like, of all of the things that we've taken from these amazing chefs and foodies that we work with, this has been the one that's really stuck, and Chef Clem really unlocked it for me. But this is a method that I've never done before, so I'm really interested to see how it, and I'm kind of understanding it as I go along. But I have a feeling we're going to make something truly delicious, but this is all about the flavor.
So, but quick question.
Flavor.
What on earth are you doing fiddling in the pan when you haven't even started with the steak?
I know, look, so I wanted to get a lovely kind of caramelization on the onions first off. So I wanted them to look beautiful and brown before we started. So they've got a beautiful color on them. And what we're going to do is jump right in. So a nice generous glug of oil there. You want them to really fry. We've got our roasted masala spices. We've got some smoked paprika. We've got a little bit of crushed garlic going in there.
And while you're doing this, I see the salt and pepper's going in, but yet you still haven't added the steak. What's going on, G?
So
What's happening?
I want to kind of, and you do this with a curry as well. We've been taught, like, really activate those flavors. Look how beautiful that looks. And this is going to obviously add a whole different flavor profile to the steak. So what I have done with the steak, and this, Clem, was, like you said, the difference between a restaurant quality steak and what you normally make at home is putting salt on your steak in enough time for it to form that. You can see it's already starting to get that kind of glisten on top. You sprinkle the salt on both sides and you leave it out, so it's got to be at room temperature. You've got to leave it out the fridge for at least an hour. Hour, half hour or so, salt it so it gets that glaze, and that's going to give you that beautiful crust on the outside. Okay, so look at this. We've got beautiful flavor, all active. You can smell it.
The smells are so good right now, man.
So what I'm not going to cook it on top of the onions, so I'm going to move those aside because I think we still want to get...
Okay, so you're using some of that flavor now for this next sort of char process. Ooh.
And you want a hot pan for your steak. You want it to be as hot as possible so it kind of forms that caramelization on the outside of the steak. With this, I would go for kind of like a medium for a masala. You don't want it to be too rare, but definitely not too tough. And then, you know, you're going to cook it, depending on your liking, probably about 5 minutes on either side, depending on the thickness of the steak. We've gone for a porterhouse steak here, which has got a nice kind of balance of fat, a little bit of marbling, maybe not as much as a ribeye or even a rump steak.
But I've got to say, this is such a different technique to me because I'm so used to, like you would mention, and like you taught me, put the steak in first, and then we'd look at the flavor afterwards. It seems like we flipped that around. We're working on focusing on the good masala
You're really getting that flavor in, and what I'm really understanding is you'll see there's a little kind of carafe of water here. I'm only going to use that once. I'm going to speed up this process just a little bit. It's going to be a rare masala today, but just so we can get through the full spectrum of. But you'll notice on the pan, hopefully you guys can see that. Just like we get this beautiful caramelization on the steak, and you can see the flavor starting to kind of form there. Look at all the caramelization that's left on the pan itself.
And that's the good stuff, eh? That's the loving, man.
The flavor and the fats that are now rendering in the meat, that's all being connected to the pan. So what we're going to do here, and I'm probably going to misuse this term completely, but this is what my, having watched a lot of reality TV says to me. So once we've turned this guy around, and just imagine, I would probably do this a little bit longer until there's a bit more of a crust there. But we're not going to use the whole kind of 5 minutes of our segment for that. We're going to use just a little bit of water. And look at that, suddenly we start to deglaze. I hope I didn't completely misuse that, but look, now suddenly all that...
It's picking up all that loving from the pan, right?
Yeah, it now becomes almost a sauce. That looks absolutely beautiful. Let this cook through, and once you've done your steak to your liking, absolutely key, get it off the heat, let it rest.
Okay.
5 to 10 minutes.
Soak
I
in
often
all
just
the
like
magic.
wrap it in foil, keep the kind of natural warmth there so it doesn't get cold, but you've got to let the fibers that you've now heated, just like your muscle fibers, kind of,
Yeah,
you've got to let them all relax in a nice bath. Just
like
let them
that.
chill out. And now you can compile, my friend, with
Wow,
all
man.
of your creative freedom, our sandwich.
And I was naughty because I had a little nibble of what you made earlier. Gee, absolute magic. You do hold up, and I think a lot of oaks in, I don't know where this is actually originated from, if it's India or wherever it may be, but you got another job on your hands, man, because the masala
I'll
is
cook
definitely
steak
your
every day
vibe,
of my life, to be
So
honest.
I would definitely go with my hero ingredient. That's the classic mayo. It's available in 3 levels of tanginess. You've got mild, medium, and strong. We're going for the medium, of course, just to kind of have the balance, let everybody be happy. And of course, with this, you've got all the different options that you would need. But it's the perfect balance, I think, just to finish this off. So, gee, as simple as this, we go with the beautiful steaks that you've just prepared. Get a little dollop of this hero ingredient in here. The tanginess for me is just the perfect balance, especially if you think your masala is too strong.
Yeah.
It's kind of just
and
coats
it's
it
going to
all.
add a nice kind of creaminess and something to counterbalance the,
Yeah, gee.
the rich spiciness. And this is the joy of making your own masala, is like steak sandwiches. You can do it exactly how you like it. You are like,
Look at that.
you made that like a
Boom.
person who hasn't eaten in 3 days. You were
I
like,
feel
I'm
like
going to
it.
just...
It's youth day. I'm hungry. I'm hungry for
gonna
magic. I'm hungry for music with Timothy. And you've just served the belly. So thank you so much for that. This is
Absolutely
bringing back
beautiful, man.
all the youthful days. And if you want to try this recipe, of course, then you can head over to theexpressoshow.com for the ingredients. But if you missed any of these steps that she just threw down, then here's your recipe recap. Check it out. Well done, man.
Made with love by Clover.